Hello, and welcome to Culture Shock, the pop culture podcast brought to you by four aging millennials and our outdated opinions. I'm your host, Doug, and with me as always is...
Hi, I'm Corey, and thank fucking God we're finally getting Moon Knight.
I'm Vengeance. Oh, shit. Wait, no, I'm Mike.
Good one, Adrian. Always with a classic witty response. Anyway, today we decided we sat down, we watched a bunch of movie trailers for upcoming movies, including some comic ones, and we're just going to share our thoughts on them. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, so I think we should just start off with the Doctor Strange 2 trailer, since that's what we watched first, and it's the one I'm the second most excited for, I think, out of the trailers we watched. How are you guys feeling about this movie? How'd you like the first one?
Doctor Strange is personally one of my favorites. It's on top of the top 5 MCU movies for me. I love it. It does help that I saw it in theaters, and it was like real trippy and fun.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful in theaters.
It was either IMAX or 3D that I saw it in. I can't remember which. But if it was 3D, I would have went to see 3D.
Yeah, I didn't get to go see it in 3D, which I kind of regret. But
if it wasn't, I would have went and saw it in IMAX.
I may eventually see the second one 3D. You know, they have the right tools in the Doctor Strange universe. It is Sam Raimi this time. It's not the same person, so it might be a little different, but in the trailer there are a couple real trippy moments that I'm hoping are a lot like the first movie.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I recall saying that Doctor Strange was in my top 3 Marvel movies, so...
Yeah, I do believe you did.
Just the visual effects alone make me love that movie, and the trailer showed that, I mean, it looks like they're going to be even better than the first one, so I'm pretty freaking stoked. And that's just for the visual effects. That's not even talking about all the shit that we got to unravel here.
The visuals are great, but the first one had the visuals. This one, the first movie didn't have basically any extra characters thrown in there, any extra world thrown in there. This one has
Dormammu,
so much.
I've come to bargain.
I fucking love that scene.
A good way to introduce one of the most OP fucking villains without making him like just fucking shit on everybody.
That scene in the trailer, like when his face starts becoming all distorted and like starts turning into like all these different little like cubes.
Oh, when he gets sectioned.
Yeah, I'm like, holy crap. I mean, it kind of looked creepy, but still pretty awesome.
And if you look real close, like parts of it is like stone. Some of it looks like it's maybe plant material or something. Like even the construct of his DNA is changing in that moment.
I remember when they announced this movie years ago, they said it was supposed to be like a horror-esque type movie.
Yeah, they said it was going to be the first horror MCU movie.
Yeah, I didn't expect like full-on horror or anything.
I'm definitely getting that vibe.
Sam Raimi might actually be a good fit for this.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Although, fuck Sam Raimi.
Oh, wow. Adrian's not even here to defend himself.
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys know much about America Chavez, the new character in the movie, but like she has a almost like a power where she can like almost open dimensional worlds.
Who was she in the trailer?
She's the girl with the stars on her arms, the jean jacket girl.
I was wondering who that was.
Yeah, okay.
The one part at the very beginning of that trailer, I don't know who she's being held there by when she's like sprawled out and being held on all 4 of her limbs. And that mummy looking character is like screaming at her. I personally hope it's Nightmare, but like behind her, a door opens in a star pattern. That's how she channels her power in the comics.
Okay. I couldn't place the name. Now, okay, I see what you're talking. I know who you're talking about. I was so focused on. I think Wanda's gonna be the villain. I think Strange Supreme is set up to like red herring us into thinking he's the villain, but they're gonna do the whole what if scenario version where he's a good guy now.
Honestly, I love that line she delivers in the trailer. Like, I was gonna ask you about that, like how you feel when she's like, "Why is it when I'm breaking the rules, I'm considered the bad guy, but when you do it, it's okay."
And then she even has a little bit of shakiness in her voice when she says, "That's not fair."
And that coy look on her face. Yeah, that's why I think she might be the villain in this.
I think you might be right. I think her whole plan in this movie is she's going to be looking for her kids. Oh, Doug never saw WandaVision.
Just talk about it. I'm working on it.
Well, in the show, she constructs her children, which in the comics are or in the end of WandaVision, she's like looking for her kids that she constructed in her town. Her kids in the comics are Wiccan and Speed. It's like they're brothers, and
Yeah.
one has like witch powers, and one is basically just Quicksilver. But she's looking for them because at the end of the whole thing, it was just a vision. WandaVision, it was just a vision, and they don't actually exist. But Agatha locked them away somewhere, and she is going to be looking for them. And at one point in the trailer, I actually looked into this. It's going into her eyeball. It's a really cool visual effect where it goes into her eye, then it goes to another scene. But if you pause it, the exact right moment, in her eye reflection, there are 2 cells, like prison cells, and there's people standing in them, but you can't see who it is.
Oh, man.
And I think it's her kids being held, and she's maybe finding them or something. It was an Easter egg thrown in there that not a lot of people saw, but
Yeah, that's a good catch, whoever called it.
it's, I wish, New Rock Stars on YouTube. They're very, very good. They catch a lot of details. I watch their videos. They're the ones that caught that.
Damn.
But I'm really looking forward to this movie.
Who do you think out of like the other movies that aren't MCU movies, who do you think is going to show up? Obviously, if you don't know that that's freaking Professor Xavier played by Patrick Stewart, then you're out of your mind.
Do you want to try that again?
What? What do you mean?
Where were they in that scene, though?
He's the one who said, should we tell him the
I
truth?
know that was Patrick Stewart, but
You're going to sit here and tell me that he's not Professor X?
where were they in that scene?
Well, he was in a courtroom, but that doesn't mean anything.
He was at the Illuminati headquarters.
Which means it could be Professor X.
Which means it could be.
But I'm not 100% sold on that idea. It'd be a weird way to introduce the X-Men, honestly.
I don't think it's going to be our version of Professor X. I think it's going to be a different universe as Professor X, but it's still going to be Professor X. That's what I think.
So who else from the other Marvel movies that aren't Marvel?
Mike is wanting us to talk about Deadpool because
I'm not actually. I mean, obviously there's that hint in the poster that people think he may be in it, but I'm not even remotely thinking about that. I was thinking about other things like, the Fantastic Four and all of those. Like, who do you think is going to make an appearance in this? Because obviously that's going to happen.
It's too early for the Fantastic Four because they haven't got a building or anything yet.
It wouldn't be for a multiverse character to come from another movie.
I personally think one of those chairs that are silhouetted out is Reed Richards. That's my opinion.
They're recasting them.
Well, it doesn't mean they're also recasting the X-Men, but Patrick Stewart's still there.
If they put any of the people that were in any of the old Fantastic Four movies into this Fantastic Four, I'm not going to watch it.
What? The first Fantastic Four isn't that awful.
It's trash.
If that Illuminati building that he's in and all 4 of those silhouettes or 6, however many's up there, are people from past movies that are only in that one scene, I'm perfectly fine with it being Reed Richards from the old Fantastic Four movie. But I don't want him to be the main Reed Richards now.
I don't even want them to give him a line.
I didn't hate him as Reed Richards. I thought he was all right. I think his name's Ian Grufford or something like that.
I just want all memory of that, of the involvement in that shit studio trying to make that movie 15 million times and failing every time to just be eradicated.
The third time was not the charm.
I'm not even going to talk about that. I refuse. Like, honestly, the fact that they're bringing them all together, I don't want them to just try to shoehorn the characters that we got when like the X-Men movie and stuff came out. I'm fine with it being recasted and done right to fit this universe instead of trying to like just mesh everything together.
Well, that's what they're going to do. But I mean, we watched No Way Home. We know that they're not against bringing in old actors from the older movies. Like, it's almost a guarantee it's going to happen. It may not be like a bunch of them, but it's going to be probably like 1 or 2 at least.
My personal opinion is one of those silhouettes is Reed Richards. He's the only Fantastic Four we will see in that scene. He's only going to be in that one scene. And my stretch and hope is that it's John Krasinski.
That would be awesome. John Krasinski was in talks with Marvel for something.
He went into a building and talked to Marvel about a role, and he's been rumored to be Reed Richards for years, so I'm really hoping that happens.
Now, if you go off of what Doug's saying about the whole recasting and whatnot, this will bring me to the whole, you trying to say that I was hoping you guys would talk about Deadpool, but I really wasn't trying to direct it there.
I hope Deadpool starts doing all the Stan Lee cameos, honestly.
That would be pretty cool. But if you go with what Doug's saying, then, I mean, it would make sense because they said that Ryan Reynolds is literally the only person they're not recasting out of the entire Fox universe.
Yeah, everybody else is too old without it being awkward, and nobody else can be Deadpool. So,
but the only other person that can 100% still play their character and pull it off. Well, no, you know what? There's two. Honest, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
I think Hugh Jackman could still.
And
pull
I think
off
Hugh
Wolverine.
Jackman could still be Wolverine.
he can't be younger. Wolverine
He can't be young
anymore.
Wolverine, but
can
he doesn't
only be
need
old
to
man
be.
Logan.
The only reason I wouldn't want Hugh Jackman to come back, as much as I would love to see him and Ryan Reynolds in a Deadpool Wolverine movie, is the fact that Logan was such a perfect send off for his Wolverine that I wouldn't want to see him come back.
There's also a lot of rumors out there that those little Ultron robots that were walking Doctor Strange to that room,
Yeah,
are actually being controlled by Superior Iron Man, and that Iron Man could make another appearance in this movie, and it could be Tom Cruise even, because he's been rumored to be Superior Iron Man if they ever did him. He does look the part.
isn't Superior Iron Man evil?
Yes.
Yes.
Like incredibly evil.
But you don't know, you may not know that at this point in the movie.
That's true.
He's controlling Ultron's robots, so some part of him is evil, and Ultron himself isn't evil in every iteration of himself, but there's a good chance that if Superior Iron Man is in this and he is controlling those robots, that he will turn on everybody at some point.
That could be interesting.
It would be really cool if they threw that in there. And I don't want it to be Robert Downey Jr. because I think he had a perfect send-off, and I think he needs to stay gone.
I don't think he wants to do it anymore either. I watched interviews after Endgame, and he was so just like electric. He was like, wasn't it like just perfect way for the character to finally go out. And people were like, well, what if you come back? He's like, would you really want that?
Yeah.
Adrian would.
The only other Easter egg in the poster, at the bottom, I think bottom right of the poster, in one of the shards of glass as well, you can see Peggy Carter's Captain Britain shield. You can see like half of it from What If. And I wouldn't hate Peggy Carter being back as Captain Britain. I think that would be
awesome.
Now, she doesn't need to play a big role, but I would love for her to be one of the people sitting up on that.
I think that's the thing about this movie is if anybody's going into this with the expectation that any of these like people that are going to play these cameos are going to have any major role, they're going to be terribly disappointed.
I think this movie is going to set up Phase 5. I think they're going to introduce a bunch of characters in one-off scenes that will split off and do their own things. That's what I think is happening.
It's definitely kind of a way, I think, for Disney to be like, hey, here's all the people we bought out of this Fox deal. Look forward to this.
Look at all the people we can use now.
The end scene from Shang-Chi is going to tie in when that ring sent off that beacon.
I've actually thought a lot about that, like when that's going to come back into play. I don't think that's going to necessarily come back into play in this movie, but I think it will be soon. Because I couldn't even put... That's hard to say, though, because Wong was in Shang-Chi. So, I don't know. 100% Shang-Chi could end up in this movie somewhere. I don't know why they'd be teasing him, or I don't know why they'd be hiding him, like, from the trailers. He wasn't that big of a character that they should be hiding him, but if they bring Shang-Chi into it, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I don't think he's going to exactly be part of it. I think it's going to tie... Because you know how, like, the end credit scenes kind of, like, play like a bigger picture role where they're painting
Yeah, sometimes they multiple ones tell a story as they
I
go.
feel like it's going to tie into it, and it's going to lead to something down the road.
I can't think of that guy's name. The guy that was kind of training Doctor Strange in the first movie. Do you guys would know his name? I can't think of it.
The older guy?
No. The heck is his name? He was pretty much the guy that was like training with him, fighting and stuff in the courtyard.
Wong?
Stuff, not Wong.
Oh, you're talking about Mordo.
Yeah. That's it. I knew it started with an M. Do you think that he's going to be like a major part of this movie? Like, because
he, it did look like he was going to be a big part, but I think he's a good version of himself.
You don't think it's a villain?
I don't think he's a villain in this movie. I think maybe he's an enlightened version of himself from a different universe.
It's really hard to say who's going to be a villain
true.
Who's not going to be a villain in this movie.
Plus, they only really show that one thing with Mordo in the trailer where he's kind of just telling Steven, you done fucked up.
That's him that says that he's the problem with the universe, right?
Yes, and that's why I think he's a good version of himself. I think he's telling Steven that you fucked up. this is not what we do as Supremes. I think he's a Supreme from his universe. I don't think it's the Mordo at the end of Doctor Strange that went off on his own to find his own path.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now that like the multiverse has been cracked wide open,
We can't even
you have
make
to-
theories anymore because of the multiverse. It could fucking be anybody.
Oh yeah. But you got to be careful not to just assume it's the same character you saw before.
Exactly.
What's the other version of Strange that's in it? Which one is it?
The evil Strange that's in that movie?
What's his name?
Does he have a specific name?
There's so many Stranges. Is it Defender Strange or Strange Supreme? It might be Strange Supreme or Superior Strange. Regardless, he is evil, but he learns not to be later down the road, and I don't know which version it is in the movie, because obviously he seems like he's evil from like the way he acts.
Strange Supreme.
Yeah, Strange Supreme.
Even with how Doctor Strange, the first one, ended, like it's clear that he's going to become a villain and he's going to eventually come back and, fight Doctor Strange. So like that's kind of what they set up.
Are you talking about Mordo? Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a thing. The thing is, with Strange Supreme, and this is kind of from the Marvel What If stuff, it shows his whole like line to becoming good when he's like working with like the Watchers or whatever. So I'm talking to them, and they basically like convince him to be good or some shit. And that does happen. Like he eventually stops being a villain. So that's why I'm not sure if Wanda's the villain, because if it was both of them, everybody's fucked. There's no way you guys are winning. If Wanda and Strange Supreme, it was like
True.
fucking up. Strange Supreme is way stronger than our Doctor Strange.
Well, that's kind of like, Marvel's really good with their misdirection. So you could be very right.
That's what kind of what I'm thinking is there, because he seems like the obvious villain, but then you have Wanda like getting all fucking weird and like creepy in the trailer, and the fact that there's horror aspects, and she's the Scarlet fucking Witch.
We should probably move on to another trailer, but I do want to mention that I'm really excited to see what at the end of the trailer what the whole like zombie like Doctor Strange is all about. I want to know what's going on there.
Are
I'm
they
really
doing
excited.
Marvel zombies in this?
I fucking wish.
I hope they just
think
do
they
a
are.
small cameo thing of it.
They're doing Marvel Zombies animated show. They canceled What If season 2 and they gave Marvel a zombie show.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right then. What was the second trailer we watched? Was it
Sonic?
Sonic was the second one we watched.
There wasn't a whole lot of new information in this trailer. It was just basically like
No, this one's just gushing.
collection. Yeah.
I'm just really excited to see Jim Carrey back as Dr. Robotnik. I thought he was great in the first
Yeah,
movie.
and Ben Schwartz did a good job voicing Sonic. I'm stoked for Idris Elba.
Idris Elba's Knuckles is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for that.
The fact that Jim Carrey's role in the first Sonic urged them to greenlight a Ace Ventura 3. I mean, that alone makes me happy, but yeah, I'm pretty excited
The fact
to see
that
him come
anyone
back.
Doubted that Jim Carrey still had that kind of fucking energy in him.
I know.
I never doubted it. He just
No, they obviously did, because they had to see that to get convinced to do another.
I think people were worried that he just wanted to do more serious stuff.
Jim Carrey will always do whatever he wants to do.
He had a bit of a period there where he was losing his mind a tiny little bit, and he did seem to want to be more deep and methodical, but I think he's getting back to his Jim Carrey-ness. Honestly, he's been quite Jim Carrey, and even in interviews lately, he's getting back to his old roots.
That's fine by me. He was my first favorite actor before Ryan Reynolds. So
He is still my favorite comedian actor of all time.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
But I'm just really excited that Knuckles is in it. The Tails original voice is in it. That's great.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I like how out of all the voices to keep, that was the one, because it was the only one that was any good in all those games.
True. That's true.
And it was always the same voice from the very first time they gave him a voice.
And wasn't it even Tails' voice in the old animated show?
Maybe.
I haven't seen that one since I was a kid.
That show had some interesting choices. Fucking Urkel was goddamn Sonic, dude.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And don't forget, kids, it's not cool.
I loved it though.
Oh, I watched the shit out of it, dude. I'm excited that they're like not fucking butchering like the lore and the story behind the characters like in these movies. Like I expect
We'll see.
them to.
We'll see by the third movie if they add all those stupid extra characters that made the game suck so bad. If by the third movie, Sonic the Hedgehog is running around shepherding little baby things into like a pool,
Chows?
I'm not going to be happy about that.
You're lame.
You should be.
Should be what?
You should be happy about it. I don't know why you wouldn't be.
Many reasons. I want my Sonic the Hedgehog exactly where he is in those movies right
But
now.
you want it to be just like the lore of it. I don't understand why you would hate that.
There's plenty of lore without adding him being a babysitter.
I'm being an ass.
I know. I'm just clarifying. I don't want to watch Sonic the Hedgehog run a daycare center. I want to watch him fight Dr. Robotnik and all his stupid little robots. That's all I want. I want it simple.
I was referring more to like the comic line lore and stuff.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, it's real like crazy shit. Like those rings that they're using to teleport between dimensions and like stuff like that. That's all shit from like the comics and shit.
I don't want to say there's not a lot of new information in this one because there actually is. We watched the new trailer for the Batman, and I'm even more excited than I was before, and I already was losing my pants over this movie.
I'm stoked, and I even think I have an answer to some of the naysayers that I've heard of talking about how this guy doesn't look like he knows how to play Bruce Wayne.
Oh,
but I think I know what's going on here. This is a Batman who hasn't yet learned to wear the mask called Bruce Wayne. He hasn't figured that part out yet.
No, he doesn't have either part 100% figured out yet. He's still trying to figure out who he is as Bruce Wayne and as Batman.
And when he held that guy up against that girder, I thought the look in his eyes was like, I want to kill this motherfucker.
Yes.
You could see him struggling with that.
That's why that move to throw him down to the ground at the end of that is so brutal, because he's deciding not to. But it's pissing him off that he's deciding not to kill this guy.
I'm just blown away by like the impact that he had with just like the gaze he had when he was holding him up against that. Like, I'm really excited for
every aspect of this movie so far.
And I hate to say that I was a naysayer of this actor when it was first announced, but I've learned.
Honestly, I will say that if you watch the most recent trailer and you're still a naysayer, or you are excited, then you might as well not even watch it, because you're going to go into this movie expecting it to suck. And then it's going to make you disappointed because I don't know. I feel like you're going to find a reason to not like it.
100% the only thing this movie can do is let me down, because I am going into it with such high expectations. I think Matt Reeves can pull this off. I think Robert Pattinson's going to be amazing. Colin Farrell looks great.
Yeah, I always forget his name, the actor that's playing Gordon.
Robin Wright.
I can't remember. I always forget his name, but he plays a major character in the show Westworld, which I'm a massive fan of. So when they announced him for this, I was actually super excited for it.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, that's what it was.
That's right, yeah. And so I know he's a great actor, so I'm really excited to see his take on Gordon.
No, I'm pretty excited. The guy that is playing Alfred, Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis is great.
He gave me, he definitely gave me Alfred vibes. Like, I know it was just that one scene, but
that is one character in every Batman movie ever that has never been miscast was Alfred. It's always been good.
I did not like Jeremy Irons in the first Batman vs. Superman that was released. He was underutilized and he wasn't that good. But when they released Justice League and the Snyder Cut, and then I watched the extended version of Batman vs. Superman, I did fall in love with
if I'm not mistaken, that version of Alfred is based off the Earth 1 storyline, where he's like a badass ex-Marine that like kicks in a door and saves his life with a shotgun at the end of it.
Which is what I absolutely love about the TV show Gotham. Like, I love that Alfred.
Yeah,
because he's a badass.
They did a very good version of Alfred.
There was two good characters in that show, and I could only get through 2 seasons, even with them carrying it.
If you don't say Jerome wasn't perfect, you're wrong.
He probably didn't get that far.
The Penguin?
No.
The Penguin was
He was very
perfect
good,
in that, yes.
That's why I got through the first
Robin
season.
Lord Taylor is an amazing actor, and God, did he pull off the Penguin really well.
Yes, he did. You didn't like Victor Zsasz? I thought he was kind of a good actor for that part. He looked the part.
He was all right.
He wasn't as crazy as he needed to be, but I thought he looked the part.
Like, that's such a 2-bit villain.
True, but
I really hope that you mean when you said that there were only two good actors that the other one was the guy that played Alfred.
No.
What?
The Harvey.
Harvey is amazing. I love Harvey Bullock.
Well, that guy's good in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I even watched the sitcom Grounded for Life.
I mean, you kind of look like him, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You do have that look.
Except I'm not Irish at all.
It's just weird.
But I'm very excited for Paul Dano to be the Riddler. He's really given me Hush vibes in these trailers.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm hoping that he's leaning towards Hush, and they're just not telling us that yet.
a good Riddler story is necessary.
So I'm kind of hoping they're mixing Year 2 and Hush.
I've heard that there are a small allusion to Superman at some point, meaning that there might be a not Zack Snyder's version, but a different version that might be in this universe down the road. It seems like they're separating itself.
Are we bringing back Brandon Routh?
No, listen. They already brought back Brandon Routh as Superman.
That's true.
In the CW
and
Arrowverse.
everybody liked that.
Everybody actually did like it. That's true.
He wasn't the bad part about that movie. It was the script. He was not given a good shot.
No, Brandon Routh is not a bad actor.
He was not given a fair shot at being Superman, and that movie sucked.
The worst part of Superman Returns is the fact that Superman was in it.
They never let him do anything.
The whole storyline was dumb. The whole thing. And then he had a kid.
And they banked too hard on the trailers of showing that bullet hit his eye and crunch. And it wasn't even that cool of a scene.
It was the entire budget of the movie.
You guys know, especially Doug, because Doug's a huge Superman fan. You guys probably know way more than I do, but I know that Superman has a kid in the comics, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, wasn't...
in the current comic line, he's a teenager.
Like, that's not a far-fetched thing, but the fact that they made it this kid in that movie, like, I know we're not really talking about that movie, but just for the... Just there's so many things wrong with that movie. You guys
know that Superman movie, that version of Superman was a direct sequel to the Christopher Reeve version. That was at the end of those movies when he left. This was him coming back and the kid was born and stuff. It made sense in context.
It was stupid.
There was just no Superman action. Like, the kid pushed a piano at one point. That was about it.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you want to watch a decent Superman movie, just watch Brightburn. It was pretty good.
Was it?
It's like a horror Superman. I liked it, actually.
I was so stoked when they announced that.
It got really bad reviews, but
Isn't that Vin Diesel?
No, it's not Vin Diesel. A kid crash lands on planet Earth and he has all these powers, but he's not a good kid.
I think Kristen Bell's in it. It's a really good movie.
They make him a fucking nightmare villain, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's Superman snatching people away and shit. Like,
so basically, it's that Ultraman storyline with Superman. If he would have crash landed in the Ukraine or whatever it was.
No, that's Red Sun, and that version of Superman was not a villain.
Like, there's a huge fight between him or is Batman the villain?
Because Batman, like, you don't know the story of that comic.
I read it though. Why do I not remember?
At least watch the movie and come back and we'll talk about that.
The movie has mostly everything except the fucking ending that they cut and got rid of for some reason.
It's Superman.
Red
Sun is not just Superman. It is one of the greatest
I've heard
stories.
Even if you hate Superman, Red Sun's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I read the comic, but I mean, it was like 10, 15 years ago.
Red Sun and Kingdom Come are just universally praised.
I enjoyed the death of Superman because he dies.
Yes.
But it was shitty when he came back at the end.
You didn't like that he came back as a weaker, more normal person?
No, that I did like.
He had to depend on technology he made to help him make up the difference.
I love the version of Superman in Flashpoint because they find him in that bunker and he's just he's so weak and
he's been locked out of the sun for years and he's just like
he looks like a beanpole.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
But yeah, the Batman.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. And
every time I hear him say vengeance, I cream a little.
And I want there to be at least 3 movies without any Joker if they're going to go that route.
Yes, they need to keep Joker out of this.
And I don't want Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Unless they put the third best Joker, Jack Nicholson, in it somewhere.
Then it'll just ruin that.
Is this really happening again? Why is it when the 3 of us are together you bring this up?
You don't even have to be here, Mike.
This came up when we did the 2-man episode.
And the 4th best Joker, Jack Nicholson, is not going to be
third
in the movie,
best, man. Okay. Third best.
So great. I do love that though he uses a slightly different voice when he's Batman. It's not that Batman.
Yes, I like that he didn't overdo it.
I don't think it's that he's using a different voice. I think it's that he's just rage-filled and angry.
True.
Being a menace, being in a fucking...
We may even see him, through anger, pick his Batman voice in this movie. He's not altering it that much.
No, it's just a very subtle.
He might just be psyching himself up when he's Batman. So it's
maybe it's because of the animated series, but I just never understood why suddenly like Batman has his own voice separate from Bruce. It's never been like that.
It doesn't really make sense unless, I would understand like how the TV show The Flash, Barry, when he doesn't want people to know he's the Flash and it's people he knows, he vibrates his voice to change it.
Yeah, but Flash actually does that. Batman has never been portrayed that way until the Christopher Nolan movies.
Any animated movie you watch, his voice is not changed at all.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you're around people that you deal with on a daily basis as your
people
regular
couldn't even
self,
recognize Henry Cavill walking through Times Square with pairs of glasses on. Like that.
I'm gonna notice Henry Cavill.
But I did something like that the other day to somebody, and I took my glasses off, and they're like, "Oh my god, you just proved that like you look like a completely different person." I'm like, "Oh, so the Superman thing does work."
And don't get me wrong, the glasses does change what you look like, but he gave out so many more hints that he was Superman than just the glasses.
Well, listen, when he's Clark Kent, he doesn't do the curl thing in the front.
That's true, completely different.
Yeah, they had that in with CG.
Anyway, the whole point of this is we're still excited for the Batman. I know we talked about this
very much
during the DC fandom, but
I didn't talk about it.
But they released a tiny little short about DC, just the Batman, Flash, Aquaman, and Black Adam.
I'm not going to count the Batman because it's outside that universe.
Technically, yeah, but it was included in that trailer.
And it better fucking stay outside that universe.
We talked about it enough anyway, so what do you think about those other three? It didn't give us a whole lot new, but Black Adam, we didn't have a whole lot yet.
I'm excited for Black Adam. Just the look of the suit.
Yes, they nailed it.
The way The Rock talked in those trailers, like when he's flexing some Black Adamness at you.
I know multiverse things, that's also a thing that exists in the DC world. Is like the Black Adam's typically a villain to Shazam, though, correct?
Oh, he's a villain.
He's an anti-hero.
Well, he's an anti-hero for his people.
But Shazam gets his goat. He pisses him off, so yes.
Black Adam's a villain, yeah.
My thought on that is like the trailer didn't make it seem very villainy.
Oh no, he's a villain.
I know we didn't get a lot.
In the part you see in this, if you look behind him, he's clearly in his world.
Yeah, you don't get to see the part from the other trailer where he like sucks the life out of 6 dudes in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, Mike didn't know there was another trailer.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, he is definitely 100% Black
The other trailer,
Adam.
when he shows up on Earth, he comes down, the SWAT team is there, and they shoot at him, and he catches the bullet, and then he grabs the one SWAT team member and just melts him.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a bad guy.
He's here to fight Shazam. Like, this isn't a Black Adam. This is the Shazam movie. It's Black Adam is almost being built up to be the main character.
To be fair, though, if Superman had come to Earth as an adult and was randomly attacked and had these powers, you don't think he would have killed somebody by accident?
Not if he was raised by his father.
Well, and here's the thing. Black Adam came to kill. He didn't come to hang out.
All right, fine.
He knows what he's here for.
Yeah, plus Superman's very weak to Black Adam.
Yeah, Black Adam and Shazam can actually kick the shit out of Superman because
magic completely annihilates him.
Yeah, magic and kryptonite are his 2 weaknesses. That's why Constantine can fuck up Superman.
Doctor Strange would kick his ass.
As much as I hate on Superman, I did watch 10 seasons of Smallville, so I know a lot about, Superman lore.
Smallville's very good.
I mean, you know a lot about Smallville's version of Superman.
Well, no, I know that. Yeah, but they go with his all of his actual like weaknesses, which is literally kryptonite and magic.
Well, that version of Superman is also an outdated one compared to the modern. You have to keep in mind. But yeah, like a lot of that does carry over. But there's been a lot of changes since then.
Red kryptonite makes him a douchebag.
Red kryptonite does make him a douchebag.
Is it red kryptonite makes him go and crazy and kill everything and everyone, or is it black kryptonite that does it?
I think it's the silver kryptonite makes him paranoid and
the
go
first
crazy.
time he has the red kryptonite in Smallville, he like goes to a nightclub and like dances like a douchebag. It's really funny.
And then he beats up these rednecks and like breaks one of their hand, all because they like were trying to hit on the girl he was dancing with.
But that's a little bit about Black Adam. There wasn't a whole lot with that, but I like the way The Rock looks in this. I love The Rock.
Yeah.
I think he's going to pull it off. I'm sorry, Dwayne Johnson.
It's gonna be weird to see him as a villain.
I think
Didn't
he's
you
going to
see the shitty Doom movie years ago?
Oh, Jesus.
No,
Where he was the villain?
I actively try to avoid or video game movies.
For the most part, I do.
I mean, it was a shitty movie.
See?
No
There
redeeming
you go.
qualities. But The Rock was the villain.
I take that back. You know what? In Red Notice, which I don't know if you've seen, Doug,
What?
Corey, have you seen it?
Yes, he doesn't play a villain that whole movie,
He's
though.
Technically the villain of the movie.
Not till the very end, though. So he's not playing
I didn't
a
see
villain.
it coming.
Exactly the point, Mike. He's playing the good guy the whole movie.
I didn't see it coming until that scene in the vault. Then I was like,
Yes,
I
but
know what's
Mike,
going
that's
on
the
here.
point. Is The Rock still didn't play a villain
Yeah,
because he
He
wasn't
did,
the villain.
though.
No, he did not, Mike.
you're not a villain when you're the good guy.
He was pretending to be a good guy the whole movie, which means he was still, as an actor, playing the good guy.
I actually thought Ryan Reynolds was the bad guy the whole time.
Well, he still was. But
Oh, yeah.
anyway, also got a little bit of a look at Aquaman's new suit. I don't love it.
I'm glad he's finally in his actual colors, but it
Oh,
looks
not the one where
really
he's sitting in the
computer
throne.
generated. Oh, okay.
Right before that, he's on a cliff and it's just all green.
Oh yeah, that was lame. The one where he's on the throne looked clean as fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Yes.
Speaking of suits, though, I mean, that Flash suit looks badass.
I liked how
Yes.
it had like the light going through it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a clean looking suit.
What got me is right before he started running, the little visors came down.
Yes. Oh my God.
I don't know
yes.
why
Yep.
that gets me, but I pump my fist every time.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see.
I'm easily the most excited for that movie, which makes sense. But
I think I'm the most nervous about this movie.
You should be.
I am the most nervous about it too, because if they fuck it up, I swear to God.
Ezra Miller was a decent Barry Allen.
Do you guys think they're flashpointing the Snyder universe and resetting DC?
Oh, for sure. I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing.
You know what? That would be cool.
It'd be the time to do it.
I definitely think that's what they're doing because
I think they
Ben
should.
Affleck, I don't think wants to come back as Batman.
They just need to wipe their hands of this and start
Oh.
fresh.
Ben Affleck's not coming back as Batman after this last thing.
I will say I was not sold on Ezra Miller being the Flash in any of his moments in Batman versus Superman or the original Justice League that we got. But when I saw the Snyder Cut version, I was completely sold.
They finally gave him the jokes that he would actually have. And
Yeah.
They gave
Yep.
him and Cyclops.
Cyclops?
Cyborg was the most cut character of that movie.
Oh my god! They both were technically.
From what from if I'm not mistaken, they basically cut his everything.
Cyborg was barely in the first cut.
Yeah, in the Snyder Cut, it was basically like half the movie was about it.
And he ended up
was.
being one of the
Yeah.
major, like he's one of the main characters. Like if you watch that whole thing,
He is supposed to be.
he's the reason they successfully do what they do.
He's made of the shit that fucking Darkseid's there for. Like,
Yeah.
The first movie was about 2.5 hours long. The Snyder Cut was a little over 4 hours long, and I think a good 45 minutes of that was all Cyborg stuff. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
Like, I'm
it was
still,
a lot.
like, I wish they hadn't tried to rush the DC universe so hard because a Cyborg movie would have been great.
I agree.
They were gonna do one, but it failed so hard.
Maybe some Green Lantern in the Justice
You,
League.
you know that's the thing. Like Marvel took their time to build this universe.
Well, because they did it first, so everybody was like
But,
terrified and trying to play catch up.
Well, that's DC was like, oh fuck, we could do this. We have, I mean, everybody knows Batman and Superman, and we don't really need to do an origin story there. Which they're not really terribly wrong by that.
They're
But
very
you
wrong.
couldn't do that
Marvel
and then
couldn't-
try to do a Justice League movie without doing any type of like origin story for Cyborg and the Flash.
Marvel 100% could not have started with the Avengers.
No.
That's what we're saying. We're agreeing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
With,
what
like,
I'm saying. Not one person would have been like, oh, I'm super excited
Mike
for this.
said they weren't terribly wrong. Yes, they were. They were
What-
very
what do you
wrong the
mean?
way they did Batman versus Superman.
No. I don't know because see, Superman they did right. They did the origin story of Superman, which I don't know why.
Okay, they didn't even do it right because he kills fucking dude at the end of Man of Steel. But I was okay with that because it was a different.
It made
version.
sense though for like what was going. It was either that or let him kill the
He
people.
does not do that. Ever.
I know.
That
I
is
know.
not something he does.
Plus, they killed about 10,000 people while they were fighting.
Yeah, they fucking eviscerated that whole fucking town
But
and every
I-
building and
How many Batman movies do we have? How many Superman movies were there before this one?
there
You know?
hasn't been like there's been one Superman movie in our lifetime before this one. Other than that, there were 4 from
Okay.
60 years ago.
that is fair. And Superman Returns, we already talked, sucked. Anyway, but all right. So how many Batman movies were there? We really didn't need a Ben Affleck Batman origin story. Like I was fine with how he just showed up.
Yeah, that was fun.
Batman versus Superman was a terrible
What I
movie.
wasn't fine with is they didn't give him his own movie.
I'm not saying they needed an origin. I'm saying he needed his own movie first.
Yeah, like,
They didn't need to introduce Wonder Woman in that movie. She needed a movie first.
I agree.
and
I
it was
agree there. That
and it
was
was
dumb.
one of the best movies that they
was.
put out.
The first Wonder Woman movie was
Yeah.
amazing.
It was
That
next to
scene,
Man of Steel. Is my second favorite fucking DC
that
movie.
scene where she freaking like starts charging forward and out of the trenches gives me goosebumps.
And her Wonder Woman music, that theme that they have for her when she's walking,
I do love
it
that
gets
music.
me. It kills me. I love it.
I didn't even watch the second Wonder Woman movie, but I heard it was really
I
bad.
won't.
It's not good.
I heard what they did to it. I
It
won't
is
watch
not
it.
good.
Didn't they basically make her like a damsel in distress?
They take a badass warrior fucking queen of Amazon Lily and turn her into a fucking damsel in distress.
That's so stupid. Like that's not the character at all. But okay.
They partly made her a damsel. That wasn't like the big storyline of the movie, but it was annoying throughout to see that because that's not who she was.
She decapitated Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
She's not a damsel.
No, not at all.
I wish they would have let Zack Snyder just finish his vision because clearly, like with the Snyder Cut, you saw where he was going and you actually, like, it made me excited for stuff that's never going to happen now.
Well, the second alternate, it wasn't even a credit scene because it was before the credits, but like Martian Manhunter shows up to talk to Bruce Wayne for a minute. That's never going to be paid off now. Nothing's going to happen. Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke probably isn't going to happen.
Yeah, and he's really disappointed about that.
Oh, yes, he is. They fixed Jared Leto's Joker at the end of the Snyder
They did.
Cut, and that's probably never going to happen.
I think they also fixed Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
A little bit, yeah. They did. They made him a little more likable. Well, not likable, but you know what I mean.
They made him more Lex Luthor-like and less fucking crazy.
I had no problem. The only problem I had with his characters is that they named him Lex Luthor. Like he could have been anything else.
Yeah, he was a decent character other than the name.
I did kind of like his Granny's peach tea thing. That was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, I mean that was Lex Luthor. That was a very Lex Luthor thing.
Yeah.
But do you know what wasn't Lex Luthor and the reason I hate his character so much?
Crazy laughing and like
no,
the fucking
that didn't bother me. The Jolly Rancher that he puts in the guy's mouth. I don't know why that bothers me so much.
It is really weird.
Lex Luthor would not have like fed him that Jolly Rancher and then licked his fingers. It was weird. It was not a Lex Luthor move. It was a weak move. It was not a power move.
Yeah.
And it was just a small thing that pissed me off. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Since we're already on the subject of comics, I'm just going to jump straight to the one I am super excited about. I've been waiting for a Moon Knight anything since they started doing Marvel movies. I love Moon Knight. He's basically the Batman of Marvel, except a lot more fucked up in the head.
And he kills people.
And I've just been waiting for a Moon Knight anything. I love Oscar Isaacs. I love Ethan Hawke. I don't know. I can't tell who he is in the comics. I never really looked into it, but I love Ethan Hawke, so I'm excited for him. I'm just really excited for this Moon Knight, and I need him to interact with like Daredevil and Spider-Man at some point. That's not going to happen with Spider-Man, but Daredevil, it could possibly still happen. I don't know. I'm so excited.
I haven't read any Moon Knight in 13 years.
I haven't read any Moon Knight in a long time, but
yeah, I can't.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed with him.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to lie. It was bugging me like crazy trying to figure out who that actor was. Because
Oscar Isaac,
so familiar. And it's guy who plays Poe.
Yeah. It's Poe Dameron.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
And Apocalypse and X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, well, we don't talk about that.
I didn't hate that movie, actually.
I did.
But anyway, Kevin Feige said that this movie is actually the show is actually more brutal than anything he's watched in Marvel.
It has to be.
And he's going to allow that to happen. And I'm very happy that he's allowing that to happen. But I still don't see it getting an R that it needs.
I'm afraid it's just not going to be as brutal as it needs to be.
They might end up venoming it by giving it a PG-13. I hope not. But they can pull it off at PG-13 if they do it right. Like, show him doing brutal things, but don't show the blood. Don't show cuts. There's ways to go around it. And I'm just hoping they cleverly do that if they can't get the R. But I'm hoping Kevin Feige at least lets this one show be R.
I will say, fortunately, Kevin Feige did say that Deadpool will be rated R in his own movie.
He's going to allow that to happen, yeah.
So, yeah, well, Deadpool without it being rated R would make no sense whatsoever. It could...
You could do him in a cameo
Yeah.
without being R. Whole movie, I don't think so.
If he's a part of another movie of somebody else's or something like that, I mean, even if he's not like a huge part, like you could
But he has
PG
to
him.
constantly break the fourth wall, knowing that he's purposely not being himself.
Yes.
A 5-minute scene of Deadpool being Deadpool, looking at the camera, saying things to us, and just making stupid little quips would work. A whole movie without him swearing and doing vulgar things would not. That's all I wanted to say about Moon Knight. I just wanted to get that out there that I'm
there's not a
very
lot to
excited
say
for.
about it just yet, and he's such an unknown character to a lot of people.
I'm kind of excited. I know Doug isn't a huge fan of most of these movies, but they are bringing back the original cast for Jurassic World Dominion, and I'm very excited to see them all back together with Chris Pratt's group of people.
It actually looks so good.
The second movie was a bit of a mess, Jurassic Evolution or whatever it was called, Jurassic World Evolution. But this one, this one actually looks really good.
I wouldn't say that the second one sucked.
No, it didn't suck. It was just a mess.
It was a mess, yeah.
But Sam Neill being back for this movie excites me. Jeff Goldblum, of course, being Jeff Goldblum always
yes.
makes me happy.
I know, Doug.
What?
You only like the first Jurassic Park.
No.
As long as they bring Vince Vaughn back, I'll be happy.
I mean, I'm mostly like out of the Jurassic Parks, I like the first one, but I wouldn't even say I think it's a great movie. It's okay. I was never that big into the series like a lot of people were.
Are you just not big into dinosaurs?
No, I have a problem with the very, 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 very outdated, incorrect version that they portray in these movies. That's kind of what bothers me. That's why I wasn't going to get it.
Did you just say the first Jurassic Park wasn't amazing?
It was okay.
That CGI for that time was phenomenal.
Yeah. And that was cool to watch, but once you get past that and you're like watching the movie, it was pretty lacking.
Oh man, I disagree so hard.
The first one has like one of the most quotable lines that people use still to this day.
Hold on to your butts.
Well, no.
That's another one.
That is another one. But no, they were so obsessed, or I don't even know if I'm going to say it right, but like they were so focused on wondering if they could, they didn't ask themselves if they should. Something along those lines.
Enough. Life finds a way. Then there's the weird fucking clip of Jeff Goldblum at the end of the fucking Jurassic Park video game telling you to go outside and do something else with your life.
You spent too much time playing this. Go outside. The sun's out there. They also still use a trope from Jurassic Park that's used in a lot of movies still to this day, is the water rippling.
Yeah.
That's usually used as a joke now, but that's still used in some movies. So
that's the thing though, is the first one did all the things that you could do, and then from there they just had to jump the shark.
Yeah, they definitely went off
and
rails.
With these new ones, my God, have they...
Did you just say jump the shark?
Oh yeah.
Fuck Jaws.
No, I wasn't even thinking Jaws. I was going back to Happy Days.
I mean, that's where the term comes from. It was the very first time that they jumped a shark in anything. That's why it's called jumping the shark.
It was terrible.
He didn't have Adam West's shark repellent on him.
The term didn't exist before that episode of Happy Days.
But I assume that's all we need to talk about the new Jurassic World. It looks okay, and I'll hold my judgment till I see it.
They're interesting. I might end up watching it, but it's just.
I'll definitely, as the nerdy cinephile as I am, I'll watch the first two before I go see it, I'm sure. But I'll probably even watch the first three, honestly. And then the two Jurassic World movies. But
you just love Vince Vaughn.
I do. It's true.
That's all right. I love Vince Vaughn too.
I want to throw in there that the new Ryan Reynolds movie, The Atom Project, actually looks really decent. It's made by the same people that do Free Guy, including Ryan Reynolds himself as the star. And it's going to be a Netflix movie. I'm actually pretty excited about it. It has all the elements I love: time travel, sci-fi, fighting. It has the really cool like sci-fi weapons and like people disintegrating while being shot by the sci-fi weapons. It has everything I love. And I'm Mark Ruffalo. That doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that one scene really like gave me Men in Black, like a Men in Black feeling when he shot that person right in front of the kid.
Yeah.
And fizzled away. It's like, yeah, that felt like Men in Black.
I'm not gonna lie, as the biggest Ryan Reynolds fan in this room, I am capable of determining whether a Ryan Reynolds movie sucks. I just watched one recently.
I don't know. You like definitely maybe. In fact, I think you said it was your favorite movie.
That's actually a very good story. Anyway, I haven't the first two Netflix movies that Ryan Reynolds did were really good. Six Underground was not like the greatest movie, but it was good enough to me. Like, it was entertaining. The action, Michael Bay directed it, so there's lots of explosions.
There are lots of explosions.
One of those cool memes actually came from that movie, from behind the scenes, where Ryan Reynolds just sitting there talking. You see shit blowing up and rolling around behind him, and it's like me trying to have a conversation with an adult, and it's like my kids in the background.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But then Red Notice came out with him, Gal Gadot, which I always say wrong, and Dwayne Johnson, which easily became the most watched Netflix movie on a opening weekend ever.
Yeah, by a lot.
And it's continuingly, like, I think it's in the top 10 continuously. It's a damn good movie, and
it's pretty good.
I never even heard of it.
You need to check it out.
Yeah, just from who you said who was in it, I do.
The fact that those two movies were, in my opinion, at least above like a 6. Like Red Notice, easily a 9 for me, but like
a 6 Underground.
Yeah, 6 Underground, I'd give it like a 6.5, 6.6.
That's about right.
The fact that those were above a 6 for me, I'm excited for The Adam Project. It's another Netflix movie. It's got Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Gardner, Ryan Reynolds. I don't foresee it being bad.
No, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a bad movie. If anything, it's going to be a fun popcorn movie.
Oh yeah,
the one of those ones that I put on and I watch a couple times. If anything, that and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, it'll be like a feel-good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus time travel.
Yeah, I'm always down.
Always
for that.
down for time travel and sci-fi.
Yeah.
The only other trailer we watched that I kind of want to get into, because we're all, we all grew up in the generation of Toy Story. They released the Lightyear trailer.
My favorite Pixar movie, still to this day. Nothing has replaced it.
It's very, very good. It's definitely in my top 3 or 5 at least.
Toy Story. Yeah.
Toy Story.
And this is just such a unique idea to go off of that movie, to make the toy version a real version.
Yeah.
Well, the toy is based off the real man, so.
Well, they made that joke, yeah, but you never actually thought that.
Well, in the Toy Story, they made it seem like it was based off of a show, not a real person.
Well, the show was.
I guess the show is based off the real person. Yeah.
Seeing them, to me, in Toy Story, they just made it seem like he was that was just like, how toys used to have. This is the storyline of this toy. Like that was his storyline.
It's so meta.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be connected to anything really in those movies.
The idea to actually what if that wasn't just a story?
It makes Buzz Lightyear the toy that much cooler that the real guy actually went on.
I want to. He better fall with style in this movie. That's all I'm saying. That'll ruin the movie.
If he falls off some giant structure and can't figure out how to. Oh, I don't have a parachute, and then he hits the thing for the wings and he glides.
Yeah,
that'd be. I hope that happens.
Superhero landings.
There was actually somebody the other day on social media has posted, I don't like how they redesigned Zurg. And I commented on there, isn't the toy the redesign of Zurg if it's based on the real Zurg?
Yeah. See, this is fucking with people so hard because they don't know how to
I figured, when they first saw that cat in the trailer when it first showed up, I was like, oh, great. Here's an annoying side character that we're going to hate. But I'm not going to lie. Those are probably the parts that I laughed the most during the trailer.
Those are the characters I laugh the most any movie. I love those stupid, annoying characters.
I'm cynical when it comes to that kind of thing. Like, I mean, it's the moment I saw it, I was like, great, here's another Jar Jar Binks. But no, it does not look like that's how it's going to go.
That's way unfair.
Yeah, that was like one time that ever happened in movie history. And
listen, I have PTSD from Jar Jar Binks, all right?
I do too.
Misa too!
God damn it.
Chris Evans is doing a great Buzz Lightyear impression. Keeping it his own.
Yeah, I would agree. It almost actually sounded like
it did. Almost actually sound like Tim Allen doing Buzz Lightyear. It actually
would have been weird if Tim Allen did it because it would have made it really confusing.
But do you know what it does is it makes Chris Evans's original, call it original. It makes Tim Allen's the copy,
the toy version,
and it makes it more intense. Like the Buzz Lightyear in the cartoons is a little more deep and like, I am Buzz Lightyear. Like I think the Chris Evans version is actually softer, like a real human would be.
Right.
So it makes the toy make more sense actually, that he thinks he's such a hot shit.
Yeah.
I do have a question. Now, if this Lightyear movie is successful, what is to stop them from making a Woody movie?
Like a Western?
Yeah.
With him and Jesse and snakes and boots?
I could see them doing that.
They already made that.
Poison the water hole.
Oh, are you talking about the show?
No, they did already make that.
Yeah.
It's called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought it was called Unforgiven.
310 to Yuma. There's lots of... We can go anywhere with this.
310 to Yuma is such a good movie.
And Bone Tomahawk. Oh, fuck. Woody's origin story is Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell. Woo, doggy. That's rough.
No, it's actually City Slickers.
Mr. Potato's storyline was the movie Face Off.
Ugh.
That's where he's from.
Why are we bringing Face Off up again?
It just fits, you know? The face was off.
Yeah, I want to take his face off.
No.
If the face comes off, then you must talk about Face Off. Like,
Oh no.
Anyway, of all of the trailers, other than the obvious, the Batman and Doctor Strange, because
They were
that's
both so
probably
high.
all of our ones and twos on there.
electrifying, yeah.
What is your favorite trailer we watched, other than the obvious two?
I wish we would have got more out of the Flash than we did in that little snippet. That's what I'm most excited for. But I think out of everything we watched, other than those two that I loved, was definitely Lightyear.
I think I'm most excited for it even before the trailer, but just from like the little, and there wasn't really much new shown, but I think Sonic 2.
I'm an obvious Marvel nerd, so obviously Moon Knight is my pick, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm surprised Adam Project isn't up there for you, Mike.
I mean,
I think he's holding his judgment on that one until he sees it.
Okay.
my thing with Ryan Reynolds movies is this. Typically, I go into them expecting them to suck because up until the first Deadpool, his movies were extremely hit or miss.
Yes.
There, he had some gems in there, like the Change Up that people don't really ever talk about. It's a great comedy.
Change Up is phenomenal.
But it doesn't get any love because, he did Green Lantern, and that pretty much almost ruined his career.
Well, he did a lot of other bad
Deadpool
movies.
fixed that.
Oh, no, he did do a lot of bad movies. He did a lot of good movies, too, but, they're hit or miss, so I always try to reserve judgment till I see them.
Yeah, that's right. All right, then. Anything else you guys want to say before we close this up?
It's going to be a very, very good year for movies.
Yeah,
I'm
and
excited.
video games.
And video games. It's going to be a great year for entertainment. And you know what? That just means we're going to have a lot of episodes coming for you
I
guys.
was going to say, that means it's going to be a great year for Culture Shock.
Lots of content for you guys coming up this year. It's going to
Great
be
year
amazing.
for movies, great year for video games, great year for culture show. All right, well, then that's going to bring us to the end of the show. If you liked what you heard, why not consider subscribing and join us next week while we talk about, well, whatever the hell we feel like. From all of us at Culture Shock, thanks for listening. Wahoo.